are these people?
And then there's this other story.
Yep.
Now, Reef, remember last year, I subbed in for Colin last summer on INN News, and we talked about a weapons expo in London. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It was one of my
Farm
favorites.
remembers.
It was one of my favorites. Well, apparently they had this the following year's version, and this year Phil from Declassified tried to get back in, and they kind of recognized who he was and were like, "Nah, I don't think we're going to let you in." So Declassified barred from London Arms Fair as Israeli weapons dealers arrive. Because last year they asked, like, are these going to be used in Gaza? They would literally walk up to weapons contractors and people that were kind of showcasing a certain weapon and ask, are these going to be used in Gaza? How many kids are you planning on killing with that? Like, and they got thrown out pretty quickly. And all I can say was, how the hell did they get into it in the first place? But good on them for doing it and getting the footage. I remember Max Blumenthal trying to do the same thing to an expo here in DC, but these guys were the first to try to do it. And now we've got a major arms fair has been criticized by press freedom groups for refusing to let Declassified enter the event, being held for the first time since Labor took power. Okay, the biennial. Okay, so it was 2 years ago already we did that? Wow. Defense and Security Equipment International's trade show is hosting over 50 Israeli companies this week at London's sprawling Excel Center, despite canceling plans for an Israeli government pavilion. Jesus. Wow. Just taking over. Just genocide airs everywhere. Exhibitors include Rafael, a missile manufacturer wholly owned by the Israeli state, and private weapons firm Elbit, we know them very well, which supplies 85% of the drones used in Gaza. It marks the first time Declassified has been denied media accreditation, having attended the last two DSEI events. Those took place under conservative governments in 23 and back in 21, when we questioned defense ministers about arms sales to Saudi Arabia. Reporters Without Borders, who we have our own issues with, said that the decision to block Declassified this year was worrying, anti-democratic, and suggests there's something to hide. You think?
You think?
Talk about the mother of all understatements. And I don't know if that's Rebecca herself, Rebecca Vincent, or someone else from Reporters Not Borders making that statement. Then when Declassified was allowed to enter DSEI in 2021, event spokesman General Rowdy Roddy Porter, he wasn't really rowdy, claimed that, quote, "We've got nothing to hide here. This is a legitimate government transactional business. That's because you weren't actively funding a known genocide at the time." DSEI is organized by the company Clarion Events, but relies on close cooperation from the UK's Ministry of Defence, Foreign Office, and Trade Department. But I believe it's also funded by Turkish billionaires, if I remember correctly. The Excel Center itself is owned by wealthy Turkish billionaires. Defense Secretary John Healey and Military Chief Richard Knighton are due to give keynote speeches at the event. So it's literally the merger of private military contractors owned by a foreign country and the Defense Secretary of the United Kingdom. Sure.
Nice.
There's no separation there. Both men were recently doorstepped by Declassified, meaning that they were chased down the street into whatever building they were in and questioned over their intelligence support for Israel, which might explain DSEI's decision to block access. Yeah, you think? Clarion provided no reason for its refusal because they don't have to, emailing Declassified at 4:30 p.m. yesterday to say, "We regret to inform you that we're unable to accept your registration." That's pretty funny. Declassified had registered back in April and repeatedly chased the organizer, Solomon Hughes, an investigative journalist with Private Eye magazine, was also denied access, by the way. All right. And there's the story about, "We've got nothing to hide here." And there's more about this story. All right. So that's another story that Declassified having an impact because they're now being barred and exposing the fact that the people that are asking the hard questions aren't allowed in the building anymore. And they, like us, are user funded and don't take corporate money. So if you're able to and have means, just like support the media you want to see, like this show and this network, the ways to do that is using Cash App, $, Indie News Network. We have ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, and that'll pop something up on screen. We've got paypal.me/Indie News Network and our self-hosted website over at indienewsnow.com. And then over at our Substacks, and I publish the two of them pretty much daily or weekly. IndieMediaToday.com is where we host this show and all the clips and original articles that I publish and write, appearances that I do on other shows, and then and also things that I want to share that I think are important once in a while. And then INNnewsletter.com is where we're going to be live later for boats smashing into other boats. So we live stream there. We host other podcasts, and we publish a weekly update for all of the members of the network and everything that goes out across all of the INN channels.
Go to my website.
And at that website, there's also merch. So there's a button to pick up an INN t-shirt.
Buy my merch right quick.
Oh, check out that merch. Check it out. Oh, Reef's wearing a beanie. Look at that. Oh, he's heating up his dab rig right now. So yes, you can get an INN beanie over at the merch store too. You go to indienewsnow.com, click on the merch store, and you can pick up one for yourself. Love you all. Thank you for hanging out. Support independent media because we need it more than ever. We'll see you soon, fam. No! We just fucking lost the stream!
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you